Everyone knows Fred Rogers as the gentleman in a cardigan, the comforting host of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. But what if the image we hold is only part of the story? Before his death, his widow, Joanne Rogers, revealed a side of Fred that few ever saw, a more complex, deeply personal truth that could change how we remember him forever. And yet, the true magic of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood wasn't in flashy visuals or loud characters. It lay in honesty, empathy, and a direct connection, a show that reached children's hearts in a way no one else could. When Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood first aired on PBS in 1968, it stood out in a world of fast-paced, flashy children's television. While other shows raced to entertain with bright lights, loud noises, and exaggerated antics, Fred Rogers chose a different path. He moved slowly, spoke softly, and met children where they truly were, not just with lessons in numbers or letters, but with an understanding of their hearts. Fred believed that children deserved honesty. He addressed feelings, fear, anger, sadness, and joy with sincerity, never talking down to his audience. In doing so, he gave young viewers a language for emotions they might not have known how to express. The show also courageously tackled real-life challenges. Divorce, death, race, and disability were not brushed aside. They were explored gently, giving children the tools to navigate experiences often too complex to be discussed elsewhere. Alongside these serious topics, the neighborhood came alive with whimsy and imagination. Puppets like King Friday the 13th, Daniel Tiger, and Lady Elaine Fairchild played out mini-dramas that mirrored real-life situations, offering lessons wrapped in playful storytelling. Fred himself voiced many of these characters, infusing each one with warmth, humor, and reflection, little fragments of his own personality shining through. Over 31 seasons and 895 episodes, the show never wavered from its mission, to nurture emotional intelligence in children. There were no laugh tracks, no commercial breaks, no distractions, just Fred, speaking directly to the camera, creating a space of calm and safety. For kids growing up in chaotic homes or uncertain environments, those 30 minutes each day became a sanctuary. Every word, every pause, every melody of the show was carefully crafted to reassure, comfort, and empower. While Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood was gentle in pace and tone, it also drew remarkable guests who brought their own gifts to the neighborhood. Musicians like Yo-Yo Ma shared how music could express emotions words sometimes could not, while Julia Child brought warmth and joy into Fred's kitchen, teaching children the simple magic of cooking. LeVar Burton, fellow literacy advocate from Reading Rainbow, appeared to encourage a love of reading, and David Copperfield sprinkled a little magic that left kids wide-eyed with wonder. Tony Bennett lent his smooth voice, infusing songs with sincerity, while Coco the gorilla communicated through sign language, creating a moment of connection that transcended species. What made these appearances so special wasn't celebrity or spectacle. It was the respect Fred showed each guest, no matter how famous or unusual. Everyone mattered in the neighborhood, and Fred's gentle approach ensured that the dignity and value of every individual shone through. The impact of the show did not go unnoticed by the television industry. Over the years, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood earned 4 Daytime Emmy Awards and a staggering 55 nominations, recognizing its unwavering dedication to children's programming. The Cine Golden Eagle Award celebrated episodes like Let's Talk About Going to the Doctor for outstanding educational content. And in 1997, Fred Rogers himself received a Lifetime Achievement Award at the Daytime Emmys, a moment that captured his humility and profound values. During his acceptance speech, Fred asked the audience to observe 10 seconds of silence to honor the people who had shaped their lives, a pause that transformed a crowded award stage into a reflective, heartfelt space. Even after the final episode of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood aired in 2001, Fred Rogers' influence didn't fade. It evolved. Thanks to streaming platforms and new generations discovering his work online, children who never saw the original show could still hear his calm voice, witness his gentle demeanor, and feel the same sense of safety and understanding that defined the neighborhood. The spirit of Fred Rogers lived on in spin-offs like Daniel Tiger's Neighborhood, produced by Fred Rogers Productions, which carried forward his mission with new characters, songs, and stories, all built on the same foundation of emotional honesty and empathy. Fred's philosophy was simple, yet profound. The greatest gift you ever give is your honest self. Every episode, every song, every puppet story reflected that belief. He taught children that being genuine, showing care, and embracing vulnerability were not just virtues, they were ways to navigate life's challenges. It wasn't about teaching facts or flashy tricks. It was about giving young hearts the language to understand themselves and the courage to express their feelings. This approach shaped not only the children who watched the show, but also the adults who carried his lessons forward, passing on empathy, patience, and understanding in their own lives. He became a blueprint for emotional intelligence, a reminder that kindness is active and deliberate, and that connection requires presence and attention. Whether through a streaming episode, a Daniel Tiger song, or simply recalling his words, the lessons of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood continue to resonate. His honest self, shared so consistently and sincerely, remains a gift to the world. A gift that still shapes how we nurture, listen, and love. Behind every great story, there is often someone whose quiet strength makes it possible. For Fred Rogers, that person was Joanne Bird Rogers. Born in 1928 in Jacksonville, Florida, Joanne grew up in a home that valued curiosity, music, and meaningful conversation. From an early age, she displayed a natural talent for music, a gift that would shape her life and the lives of those around her. Joanne pursued her passion rigorously, studying music performance at Rollins College in Winter Park, Florida, continuing her education at Florida State University, and later at Carnegie Mellon, where she honed both her technical skill and her expressive artistry. But Joanne was never interested in fame or the spotlight. Her music was a way to connect deeply with people, to communicate emotions that words alone could not capture. She brought that same dedication to teaching, inspiring students at various institutions with patience, insight, and a love for learning that went far beyond notes and scales. Her professional accomplishments extended beyond the classroom. Joanne collaborated with longtime friend Janine Morrison, recording piano duets that showcased not only technical brilliance, but also a remarkable musical chemistry. Whether performing or teaching, Joanne carried herself with independence, thoughtfulness, and a profound respect for others. Deep friendships, honest conversations, and meaningful connections mattered to her more than accolades or public recognition. Later in life, Joanne's lifelong dedication to music and education received formal recognition. In 2019, she was awarded an honorary degree, acknowledging decades of work that had touched countless lives. Yet as significant as these honors were, they only tell part of the story. Fred and Joanne Rogers didn't meet under flashy lights or dramatic circumstances. They met in the quiet halls of Rollins College in the late 1940s, both young music majors immersed in their craft. What began as mutual respect quickly grew into something deeper. Their bond wasn't built on grand gestures or sweeping romance. It was founded on intellectual connection, shared passion for music, and an emotional understanding that transcended words. In practice rooms, over piano keys, and during late-night discussions, they discovered a rhythm together, a harmony that would carry them through decades. When Fred moved to New York to begin his career with NBC, the couple faced the challenge of a long-distance relationship. There were no calls or instant messages, only letters, carefully written, patiently awaited, and treasured. Each envelope carried more than words. It carried layers of affection, trust, and longing, reinforcing the foundation of their connection. Fred's proposal, delivered in one of these letters, sealed a promise that would last more than half a century. They married in 1952, and from that moment on, their lives intertwined in a partnership defined by realism, humor, and constant effort. Their marriage wasn't perfect, but it was deeply human. Joanne became the emotional backbone of the family, supporting Fred's work while also understanding the complexities beneath his gentle public persona. She knew that his kindness, while genuine, required discipline, patience, and consistent effort, a truth few ever saw. Together they raised two sons, James and John, and music remained at the heart of their bond. Piano duets, shared laughter over mistakes, and quiet moments at home became the threads weaving their life together. Through ups and downs, triumphs and challenges, Fred and Joanne's love endured. It was a partnership rooted in mutual respect, deep understanding, and unwavering support. Joanne's acceptance of Fred's layered personality allowed him to be both tender and flawed, and in turn, that honesty and effort shaped a marriage as enduring as Fred Rogers' legacy itself. Fred Rogers was known worldwide as the embodiment of kindness, patience, and calm, a figure whose soft voice and thoughtful demeanor seemed almost otherworldly. To millions, he was a gentle icon in a cardigan, a constant presence who could make any child feel seen and valued. Yet behind that serene public persona was a man very much human, with struggles, doubts, and the weight of immense responsibility. Joanne Rogers, his wife of over 50 years, knew this side intimately. She described Fred's kindness not as effortless, but as a deliberate daily choice. Maintaining that calm required discipline. Fred adhered to strict routines, swimming every morning, carefully monitoring his weight at 143 pounds, a symbolic number he cherished as "I love you," small rituals that reinforced his commitment to living intentionally. But even with these practices, the emotional toll of being a role model for generations of children was heavy. Fred invested himself fully in his work, often bringing home the mental and emotional labor of creating a space where children could navigate their feelings safely. This intensity sometimes created tension within the family. While Fred embodied gentleness, Joanne often assumed the more disciplinary role with their two sons, balancing the household and providing the structure Fred struggled to enforce. She became the anchor that held the family steady, while Fred carried the emotional weight of a generation on his shoulders. Through it all, Fred remained profoundly human. He experienced fatigue, self-doubt, and moments where he had to lean on those closest to him. He made mistakes, required rest, and faced challenges like any other person. Joanne's perspective reminds us that the magic of Mr. Rogers wasn't the absence of struggle. It was his conscious choice to act with patience, kindness, and love despite it. In seeing Fred as both icon and man, we appreciate his legacy not as perfection, but as the powerful human commitment to care for others every single day. The awful truth Joanne Rogers revealed wasn't scandalous, it was deeply human. In his final days, Fred faced a battle that few could imagine from the gentle television persona the world adored: stomach cancer. Joanne described these moments with candor, showing a side of Fred that was vulnerable, introspective, and profoundly courageous. The illness began subtly, with mild discomfort and indigestion, easily dismissed or explained away. But over time, the symptoms worsened, leading to a grim diagnosis and the difficult treatments that followed. Joanne witnessed the toll it took, not just physically but emotionally and spiritually. Fred's strength never wavered publicly, yet privately, he grappled with loneliness, uncertainty, and the weight of knowing his time was limited. Even as his body weakened, Fred remained committed to the life and work he loved. Weeks before his passing, he served as Grand Marshal of the 2003 Rose Parade, demonstrating his devotion to others even in the face of immense personal struggle. These final days revealed the complexity behind the calm voice, showing a man who carried his vulnerability quietly, choosing courage and kindness until the very end. Fred's final months were a blend of quiet struggle and small, meaningful comforts. After surgery and hospitalization, he returned home, where even simple acts like playing the piano brought moments of peace amid his physical weakness. Joanne Rogers watched closely, witnessing the courage it took for the man who had spent decades comforting others to now lean on her, his family, and the routines that grounded him. On February 27, 2003, Fred passed away peacefully, surrounded by loved ones, a serene ending to a life devoted to kindness and connection. For years, Joanne chose to keep these intimate details private, out of respect for Fred's carefully maintained public image. Yet with time, she recognized that sharing the truth, warts and all, was a way to honor his humanity. She spoke openly about the emotional strain of caregiving, the shifting dynamics in their relationship, and the delicate balance of love and responsibility that defined those final months. Even in the face of illness, Fred's humor and capacity to find light in darkness shone through, a testament to his enduring spirit. Joanne's reflections reveal that grieving is neither simple nor linear. It is exhausting, unpredictable, and deeply personal. Through her words, the legend of Mr. Rogers becomes fully human, showing that behind the calm voice and cardigan was a man whose vulnerability and strength were inseparable. After Fred Rogers passed away, many expected Joanne to retreat into quiet mourning. Instead, she stepped forward as a vigilant guardian of his legacy, ensuring that the gentle wisdom and emotional lessons he imparted would continue to reach new generations. Serving as chair emerita of Fred Rogers Productions, Joanne oversaw the continuation of shows that taught children about kindness, emotional literacy, and the value of community. Her leadership ensured that the heart of Fred's mission remained intact, even as media and audiences evolved. Joanne also took to the public stage, sharing personal stories and reflections on Fred's life and philosophy. Through interviews, documentaries, and public appearances, she highlighted the enduring importance of empathy, understanding, and emotional connection. Her cameo in the 2019 film A Beautiful Day in the Neighborhood was more than a nod to history. It was a living bridge between Fred's life and the audiences still inspired by his message. Beyond preserving Fred's work, Joanne brought her own artistry and educational expertise to the forefront. As a talented pianist and lifelong educator, she reinforced the idea that creativity, music, and emotional care are intertwined. Through her dedication, Joanne ensured that Fred Rogers' legacy wasn't frozen in nostalgia, but continued to grow, resonate, and teach the world how to live with kindness and honesty. For Fred Rogers, love was often expressed in the smallest, most intentional ways. The number 143, simple yet profound, became his personal symbol for I love you, 1 letter for I, 4 letters for love, and 3 letters for you. This quiet code extended beyond words. Fred maintained his weight at exactly 143 pounds for much of his adult life, a daily ritual that reflected his devotion to intentionality, care, and the meaningful gestures that underpinned his philosophy. Fred's legacy extended far beyond his cardigan and calm demeanor. In Pennsylvania, his home state, May 23rd was officially declared 143 Day, a time to celebrate kindness, neighborliness, and the quiet acts of love that define meaningful human connection. Through this, Fred's message continues to touch hearts, reminding people that love and care need not be loud or grand to be transformative. Joanne Rogers, who shared over 5 decades of life with Fred, passed away in 2021 at the age of 92 in their Pittsburgh home. She was survived by their 2 sons and left behind a shared legacy of calm, consistent love. By openly reflecting on Fred's personal struggles, his fatigue, self-doubt, and the effort behind his constant kindness, Joanne deepened our understanding of what made him extraordinary. His kindness was not an effortless ideal, but a conscious, deliberate choice made every single day. In the end, Fred and Joanne Rogers offer a timeless lesson. Love, patience, and authenticity are powerful forces. Their quiet dedication, both on screen and in life, continues to inspire generations to live thoughtfully, act with empathy, and cherish the simple yet profound bonds that make life meaningful.